CK,
Baske?
so beautiful,
So elegant.
looking like a...
Wow.
No, it doesn't look like wow to me, it looks like confusion.
Seriously?
Yeah. So beautiful, so elegant, looking like confusion. Which one do I buy? However, I have bought, you haven't,
Confusion still with me.
is still with you. Did you get some clarity today after an hour and a half of riding, exchanging, swapping?
Yes.
And what it is that it is?
We'll find out by the end of the review.
Oh, okay, we'll find out at the end of the review.
So we start with confusion.
Start with confusion.
Yes.
You're referring to what confusion?
Social media confusion.
Social media confusion. Oh yeah. A lot of comments about vibration, heat,
Yes.
noise.
Engine noise.
Yeah, engine noise.
I think both motorcycles have their share of controversies.
Yeah. So a lot of forwards about this now because it is the happening motorcycle. About somebody putting a post say इसमें vibration है. Another person thumba heat up. So and there's one more about tap it noise. A lot of confusion now everywhere. So I did a little bit of understanding to find out who is sharing these things.
You mean basically the background of the people?
Yeah, generally soft research of the people who are raising concern about the heat, raising concern about the noise, raising concern about vibration. 4 out of 5 who have a concern with these 3, noise, vibration and heat, are coming from small capacity two-wheelers. It could be a variomatic scooter, it can be a 125 or even a 150 cc. Using that as a basis is not the best way.
You don't do justice, right? It's a smaller engine, less output. This output is much more magnified.
Yeah. That is the reason why there is so much of, because they are the aspiring buyers of models like this. I will include that also because when this was around, when this came around a few years ago, the same things. I was not so active on social media at that time. However, being in the motorcycle circle and the fraternity and the mixing and mingling with motorcyclists, the same thing is repeating here. So the baseline has to change. We cannot use the baseline of a variomatic scooter or a 16 bhp, 15 bhp motorcycle. That comparison is leading to this confusion and conundrum on social media that these put out a lot of heat, they put out a lot of noise and they vibrate like a vibrator.
I like the choice of your words. Vibrator.
Vibrator. It can mean different things to different people. First thing, I think we can dispel that nothing unusual, a single cylinder, unless if it is a Japanese motorcycle. The disclaimer.
Disclaimer, yeah.
Somehow the Japanese, they don't have many motorcycles in this segment. However, from whatever we know thus far about Japanese motorcycles, heat, vibration, noise, they are steps ahead of European and Indian counterparts. So there is going to be a buzz. I don't call it a vibration, neither do you call it a vibration.
No.
There is going to be a buzz in the bar, there's going to be buzz in the pegs, the seat might buzz depending on the RPM, the tank might buzz. Happens in both, we experience it today, that is normal. There is a saying that goes, if you can't stand the heat, leave the kitchen. Please, either of these motorcycles, they do have a buzz, they will radiate heat. It is winter now, we are kind of okay with it. We have had these for a while, bigger motorcycles, and we know the heat, accept it. It is only when stationary and crawling in traffic. Once you get moving, it is gone. So that acceptance has to come if you are going to jump into this segment. There is another issue, this is more specific to this motorcycle, okay, which is again making a lot of news and I get a few questions about it. and a lot of discussions going on.
Can I guess? Can I take a guess? Speedometer console.
Yeah,
with the Bluetooth synchronization.
Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Wi-Fi synchronization.
Yeah, not the Bluetooth. Yeah, Wi-Fi.
The Google Maps. The biggest complaint everybody is moaning about it is my phone has to be on and the battery will drain and the phone will get hot. Yes, the phone has to be on. It's on soft lock. The screen kind of dulls down. It's a low light set and then it stays. Now my question is, it is that way because it is casting the data here. If this doesn't have that facility or feature, we would put our phone outside and put Google Maps on it.
You buy a fancy anti-vibrating mount and then you mount the phone on it with the screen on.
With the screen on. So the screen is on there also. So what is the thing about saying, oh, this is no good because my phone is on? Okay, instead you use your phone on top. Okay, another solution. I don't use I have a secondary phone for doing these things. Very good. Even that phone has to be outside. Even that has to be connected to a charger.
Too much is made out of the screen.
Yeah, screen on, battery drain. Yes, there is a charger. Yeah. If you're going to use Google Maps on the phone mount, phone on, battery drain, use the charger. So nothing has changed. What has changed is we don't need a second phone just to use for Google Maps. And my phone, if it is a high-end phone, an expensive phone, can stay in my pocket or in my tank bag away from the sunlight. So that issue of screen on, phone on, battery drain, heating, don't worry, chill, it's okay. One more issue that is being discussed is this. Okay, if the vehicle falls, it's going to brake and I have to replace tail light and indicator.
I find it funny.
Yeah, this is a tail light and indicator, yes. If it breaks, yes, you have to replace it.
As simple as that.
And so what happens? So if the tail light is here, if it's only an indicator, don't we need to replace it if it breaks?
You still need to go ahead and replace it.
Again, a bit too much is made out of this issue. Does it cost? I don't know how much it costs. I don't think it's going to be anything crazy. It's okay, it's just LEDs and mass production. So that is another area which I request and suggest, don't worry about it. If it breaks, it is only one side of the tail lamp, the other side continues to work and indicate to the vehicles behind you that you are braking. So that's another thing which can be safely put aside, not be bothered about.
So,
okay, we have got all these things out of the way.
Now the bikes.
That is done. Now coming to the bikes. Confusion is conundrumous. If I hadn't bought this, I would be sitting on the fence until hurts.
Like me?
Yeah, you are on the fence. Hopefully very soon you will decide what you want to do.
Confusion for me, Basky.
Yeah.
It crept up when I rode both the motorcycles on well-paved roads. I could not make out any difference
same, right?
in the performance. People complain that this does not have low-end torque. I mean, like,
It's got enough.
it's got enough.
This also, it starts from 2.7, 2.8 onwards,
Yeah.
3,000 to give it a clear number.
Yes.
From 3,000 RPM, it can move. Below that, it moves adequate.
Sufficient.
There is
adequate.
no problem with the torque between 1500 to 3000 RPM. Comparison to the 411 is being made, that is okay and not necessary. It gives brilliant performance between 1500 to 3000. It can go like a tractor. Okay, what happens to it after 5000?
No disrespect.
No
huh?
disrespect to that motorcycle. I have one. I loved it. I've done a lot of things on it. It's time to let that go. Compared to what it does from 3000 onwards, below 3000, yes, seems deficient.
I wouldn't say deficient. I would say it is sufficient.
Sufficient.
Let's be clear, Basky. Deficient is like, yeah, you need to, pull in the clutch ample number of times for it to even move.
Harmonium.
Yeah, like a harmonium, right? I wouldn't say deficient, it is sufficient. And so is this motorcycle as well. The myths on this motorcycle again, no low-end torque.
Yeah, I stall it.
Man,
In circumstances of taking it to a very tight trail where even the first gear cannot be fully engaged, in that circumstance, in that scenario, it stalls.
Yeah.
That is not the basis to judge and give a certificate saying this does not have low end torque. From 4000 RPM, this thing is a rocket. Till the panel goes blink, 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 shift, shift, shift.
I was wondering first time,
Why is it?
And then I upshifted and it was all normal.
So there is no issue with the bottom end torque. It is simply being compared with the wrong thing. Of course, an engine will put out far more torque once it starts to rev up. So comparing that torque to the idling and plus 1000 above idle is not. So please don't worry about that torque or lack of torque. Low end torque not available on both machines in comparison to what? Comparison to what it puts out at the higher RPM. So let that go. Don't worry about that.
So Bosky, now that we are up,
We have got the rant out of the way. I got my rant out of the way.
anyway, peace. So moving on the motorcycles, the key differences.
Significant differences on paper.
Of course, on paper, because many go by the spec sheet, and I
Yeah.
think we should do some justice to that.
Okay. Now on paper,
On paper,
on the spec sheet, what are the differences? First thing that stands out, weight. 20 kilos.
that's a lot.
Yeah, in the late 170s, this is in the late 190s. That's a lot of weight. That is 5 kilos excess baggage on Indigo.
Oh yeah?
15 plus 5, 20.
Okay.
Next, wheel sizes,
19 and a 21.
19 and 21. That's another significant difference.
Suspension,
Yeah, suspension travel is significantly different.
the ground clearance.
Yeah, it's quite visible.
Yeah.
This is significantly more than that, and not sacrificing any, not compromising seat height.
You were referring to Mr. Sadler. So he bought the bike to basically climb stairs,
And to climb up walls.
climb up walls.
CH Sadler. If you don't know him, please follow him. I think it goes CH_Sadler. He does some crazy things on that also, and now he's doing it on this. He climbs vertical walls.
So ground clearance. I think the fuel tank. This is a little bit smaller.
14.5?
Yeah, 14 and a half.
14 and a half. This is 17 liters. Yes. So it's got a greater range, and not only just because of capacity, also because of a marginally more fuel economy.
Efficient.
Okay. Then what are the significant difference?
It has a rear luggage.
Yeah, luggage rack is standard. Center stand is standard.
You miss out on both.
There is no center stand, and I think there is no provision to install a center stand.
Yeah.
A luggage rack is available only with aftermarket. There is no OEM
There's no OEM.
luggage rack. This has got a tank guard. This has got an engine guard, tank guard, sort of right in between. This comes with the motorcycle.
Standard.
This is standard fitment.
Okay.
This is standard fitment.
Yeah, these are the ones that are visible to the naked eye.
Oh, yeah, on spec and on paper and visible, yeah.
Yeah. Air filter.
Aha! Another favorite topic of mine. Air filter location, that's under the seat, easily accessible by the user. This is under the tank, and it is not easily accessible.
On the positive side, it gives you greater flexibility on your seat.
That's the reason why the seat height is low, and there is a low seat height and road clearance. They had to move the airbox here. If the airbox was here, this motorcycle would have been tall and sacrificing some road clearance also. That is easier to remove and clean. This is not. Once in 10,000 kilometers is the cleaning interval. I don't mind. This is done with two reasons. One I already said is to keep this area small, so seat height is low and road clearance is more. And two, it's a lightweight item, the airbox. is sitting right on top and the fuel is on the side. That is the reason we have these two
Bulges.
reasonably two bulbous projections on either side. So the fuel sits here and here. So the CG is a bit
Clear.
lower. That's the advantage of the airbox here. And one more advantage, sounds good when accelerating hard.
I found it very addictive.
Intake roar. Yeah?
Yes, the intake roar, especially after that 4,000, 5,000 RPM, it gets very big on your ears and you like it.
So that's it on paper. Now coming to real world performance, how we felt on the motorcycle. Where do we start? Ergonomics?
I could not find much
Yeah.
of a difference.
I just found the KTM a bit lower and a bit closer. This was a bit higher and a bit further. Everything else seemed pretty close.
Yes.
We swapped the ride several times and it was quite easy to get into the hang of it. It didn't
take much.
It didn't have to adjust too much. Our brain didn't have to creak too much to get hang of the new things. The switching was quite easy.
It was very easy.
So ergonomics is close. The only thing we will notice very clearly is the handlebar.
Handlebar. And somewhere I felt you are seated on the motorcycle in the ADV, 390 ADV, and in the Himalayan you're seated in the motorcycle.
Probably because of the way the tank is raked up in the front. This little slope is a little bit less. So that gives a perception of sitting on. This is sitting in.
Yeah, kind of feel that's a bit more safe.
However, all the geometry was more or less the same, right? Yeah. Both were equally comfortable and we are okay.
True.
How did you find the controls? The levers, the brake, not the braking. I'm talking about the feel on the pedal, the shift of the lever, the way the ride-by-wire felt, how the switches felt.
I did not find much of difference. Switches, these are a bit small. That motorcycle, again, the switches I had to literally look around for the first time. It was not like everything falling in place.
Not intuitive.
Yeah, it's not intuitive, and somewhere, it doesn't follow the regular trend that you have. The high pass being more used to this.
Not this.
Yeah, not doing it this way. So that was what I felt, Busky.
Controls, yes, I had
How
the
about
same
you?
feeling. I felt those were more tactile. With a glove, I could feel those switches better. Spaced closer, but I could feel the button, the click, and everything. It was positive.
Assuring touch.
With a glove, I could make out I had actually hit the button. That was not the case on this. Especially the toggle. The toggle switch has got no tactile feel. It feels like I have stuck a toothpick in chewing gum and trying to move it around.
It doesn't give you the feedback.
With bare hands, yes, I can feel the click, that mild click saying yes, I have actually made the contact inside. With gloves, there is no way. It's very difficult to make out. Either my gloves are wrong or my hands are short.
Or you need more time.
I will get used to it. I'm already used to it. So I operate in a much more sensitive way. The brake lever, the clutch, a bit wobbly, fiddly. These are
firm.
Very precise.
Precise.
Very precise. Didn't have that unnecessary play. Didn't have that extra wobble. Even the ride-by-wire, this has got a lot more rotation. That seems like a quick throttle. Yeah, it's only got maybe 30 or 35 degrees. This seems to have about 45 degrees of rotation.
Ready to race.
Ready to race, living up to its tagline.
Yes.
Controls, yeah, I think it takes a little time to get used to. They tried to match the rotary switches on both sides. The high beam and the flash is what instinctively the index finger reaches out to it, but then there is some other button there. Yeah, okay. There's some other control.
I think that's one area where I was happy on that.
Happy on this, happier on that.
You stole my words.
I was happier on that. That's a bit wider. Flat, firm and wide. This is good. If I had to get to the wide portion, I have to sit back a little. It's a bit narrow. Probably made for smaller riders, can have a more comfortable ride with this. And since it is narrow, flat footing is easier on this
compared to
than on that. Yeah.
In fact, what I was thinking on that, Busky, is like, since you have the seat adjustments, I was thinking of putting the front adjustment to the max and the rear adjustment to the lowest, so that I can sit. Yeah. It kind of, you tend to slide in a little bit more on that.
And then tend to.
Yeah. And then you see Mr. Bolskwashki.
I don't want to meet Andrei Bolskwashki. It doesn't slide. Hey, it's got a good grip. Yeah, it doesn't slide, but there is a feeling that
you get that feel. Yeah.
You might get paid a visit by Bolskwashki.
Yes. Yeah.
Pillion seat, I don't know. You don't know either, so we'll not even talk about it. I won't sit pillion with you anyway. You might sit pillion with me, but what about the console?
There are two different schools of thought.
Yeah.
This is a 4 or 5 year old design. We'll come to that later. That is the latest, and it is easily set the benchmark.
Yeah, I was able to read data on this far easier than the data on that.
Yes. So, hands down.
To me, it doesn't matter. The only few data I want to see is the speed, fuel, odometer, warning light. And that I can see. The rest of the data, yes, it is more clear on this.
The fonts on that,
yeah.
The legibility, I agree, Bosky.
Yeah. So, otherwise, how much am I going to be looking at the screen and riding? Now I don't even bother to look. I don't need to know anything. Generally, we get a feel of what's happening. So, these 4 things are there. That's about it.